Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is May 9th, 2013, and here are your news updates for today. We're going to do this early today. First off, we'll go to the E&E News, Energy News. Worry about wall of water heading towards the control room at U.S. nuclear plant if leaking 300,000-gallon tank fails. Flood control berm in place. Outrage. Congressman demands action at leaking U.S. nuclear plant. NRC needs to get serious on Palisades. Heads up, get away from the Palisades. Okay. Fukushima, Japan. Cover over Reactor 1 to be removed at Fukushima plant. Radiation levels expected to rise. Also, report, TEPCO now dumping contaminated water from Fukushima plant into ocean. 200 tons of radioactive groundwater pumped out. My goodness. It's horrible. Alright, let's move on. Let's go to the watchers watching the world. Yesterday I had a problem with my whole account went down when I removed my Google+. So all you channelers out there, even though I had made sure what I checked to remove Google+, that it disabled my YouTube channel. So heads up on that. Alright, it's a lot of work involved. A lot of my stuff became private, and I got to go through. I'm on page 34 now of unprivatizing my videos. Thank goodness I was able to get it up and running again. I thought I lost everything, so don't panic when that happens. Send me an email, maybe I can walk you through it. Alrighty then? Alright, I have a legacy. I put that on. Since I started off, not long after YouTube just started, I joined them. Luckily, I have a legacy account. Alrighty then. Nothing new on the watchers. Let's go into breaking news. Almost lost, I don't know, like almost 1,000 videos. Let's see. Not that I don't have copies of some of them, but you know. Feel free to go ahead and, if you need to, go ahead and copy my videos. That way there's a record of it somewhere. You know. Hold on to a few. Now, if anything happens, someone can repost them for me. Okay. Cleveland Mayor Jackson, families of kidnapped victims need privacy. He's asked police to stem leaks from broadcasts. Wow. Those are those 3 women that were missing and they found. Well, they were kids, you know. So now you know, never give up. I don't see anything, any weather alerts. I'm looking for that for you guys. No. Alright. So, no, it doesn't show up on the breaking news. So we're done with that one. Alright. The Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. Outbreak of mice vector hemorrhagic fever reported in Argentina. Attacks in rural areas. U.S. evokes Emergency Act in anticipation of a potential H7N9 pandemic as flu claims another life in China. I'll read that again. U.S. evokes Emergency Act in anticipation of potential H7N9 pandemic as flu claims another life in China. Sounds strange to me. Climate change unleashing pestilence omens. Bosnian capital hit by plague of flies. Oh my God, flies. Bring in the frogs. Scientists record the brightest explosion ever seen in space. Wow. Solar eclipse set to turn sun into ring of fire this week. Heads up, ring of fire this week. Alrighty then. So, and I'm still not home as people can see. It is 4 days down. It's the eve of Friday. Hang in there. And I'll get back with you tomorrow on the flip side. Always be safe. Be ready for anything. And if I see something I got your back, so I'll let you know about it. All right, bye.
Well, we can be general. What strikes you as the most energy dampening? What type of building strikes you as the most energy dampening, spirit quelling, non productive, and otherwise unhealthy environment that you see commonly?
Well, I would say that all buildings that we build today, they are at different levels. Some of them do little harm, some of them do more harm, but without this connection to the doorway, you cannot have architecture that is good for the human energy system. To be good to the human energy system, every building should become a portal. If it is not that way, then it can only harm. It cannot do good, especially with all the technology we have in our buildings. So the whole concept of architecture has to bring in the principles of biogeometry, has to bring in the principles of connectivity. You know, in ancient civilizations, the physical world should be a manifestation of the archetypal world, so that the laws of nature coming from the archetypal world can actually manifest down here. And we have cut this connection completely. So in olden times, they used to start building a city by putting the main temples or courthouses or hospitals and everything on the power spots, and then connecting them with avenues. So the whole city planning, the whole architecture was nothing but a distribution of the divine light, the harmonizing divine light into every activity of life. If we do not bring back this way of thinking into our modern architecture and city planning, we will soon be lost.
Yes, said that though, biogeometry has the way of harmonizing existing buildings, even if they're bad, in a way that they can be livable and actually give good energy. And we have done few in North America and in Geneva that respond to that. And people respond immediately. They say, I'm happier, I can sleep, I can be creative. Because it's not only do new buildings, which is of course the best, because then we can connect them to power spots, as we did here in Toronto, but there are biogeometrical artifacts and way of treating with forms the existing buildings and the existing materials, which are impregnated with chemicals, in a way that will change the quality, because it's a science of quality.
Fresh, and when they met the enemy, they were just as fresh as when they started, because they were walking along this healing, harmonizing energy. So this is the ley lines. If you go to many places of pilgrimage, you will find that people go from one place to the other, like El Camino, for example, yes, on ley lines.
From Chartres to Santiago de Compostela.
Yes,
everybody's doing it now, right? And they're walking on ley lines.
Isn't that amazing? And many of those roads still exist. So is the fact that the road was laid on a ley line like that, did it contribute to its longevity?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, even places where you have the harmful crossings, you will find that you have most accidents in roads where you have negative grid lines.
Yeah, and if you see in a house a crack in the slab, in the concrete slab, usually it's a banker's grid that passes through it and is not corrected, so it's so strong that it breaks a 6 inches high poured concrete reinforced slab.
Imagine that sometimes moving somebody's bed just 1 meter or 3 feet away from its position, just to avoid one of those lines, could change your life from a life of immune problems, of cancer and all that, to healthy life, just by moving the bed a couple of feet.
This is unbelievable. I'm thinking that coil springs in your mattress are probably not a good idea.
No, they're not a good idea.
You're right.
Well, they're antennas.
Exactly.
Yes, but we can, you see, biogeometry has ways of transforming all products of modern technology, let's say, all electronic devices in our life. They produce those harmful effects, just like the coil springs do. Now, in biogeometry, we can actually add this harmonizing quality, like in sacred power spots and so on, to any product of modern technology, and then make this product support the health system of the user instead of working against it. That's what biogeometry can do to any. Look, light is just the brain. You see, your brain produces light. There is no light out there. Out there are just frequencies, see, vibrations. Now the brain chooses to interact with, like we said, 1%. Now the brain produces light. So light is produced in the brain in order to perceive reality. Now, how does your brain produce light? It produces light through, like we say, through its own multidimensional portals. So actually light is, you do not see light, you do not produce light, you are made to see light and produce light. It's as if divinity is working through us. We are just receptors. And this light, we receive it, we transform it, and with it we perceive, measurements on the body energy of a person, let's say holding a smartphone. And we saw the changes that happened and how those changes started affecting the other people sitting beside him. Now, we asked another person to think of a lie, any big lie. And the moment he thought of the big lie, the same changes appeared like the changes caused by the smartphone. So morals, lies, and all that produce the same effect like electricity. So electricity here enhances those unmoral effects in the body. And so if you imagine electricity as alive, because between, like we said, between the two horizontal and vertical planes, you have all the other planes. So just like light is alive, electricity is alive. But the difference is, when light is alive and is positive, that we can make people healthy without actually you taking off your antennas or whatever high-tension cables from the area of Hamburg. It was accepted. So the whole thing, if we go and tell, for example, a computer manufacturer or a cell phone manufacturer, if we can show you a very small, inexpensive, ineffective way that will not change anything of your device, but it will not harm people. It will make your device not harm people,
I want one.
Yeah, but when you tell that, you see, in Switzerland, what happened was very strange. The moment Swisscom, the provider, had the solution of biogeometry, when we went on TV, people came and asked them and said, do you acknowledge now something called electrosensitivity as a disease? Now, they never acknowledged that anywhere in the world. But the director of Swisscom said, we acknowledge that and we have a solution. You see, because if you have a solution, you can acknowledge. But if you don't have a solution, if you acknowledge, you'll just scare the people.
Yes.
So we want to show modern technology there is a solution. So